This week, Andrea begins giving our living room a fresh update that she's been dreaming about for a long time. This living room refresh will involve a search for the perfect furniture for this space, as well as one of Andrea's most industrious furniture builds to date, where she'll be attempting to build a $5,000 coffee table for a fraction of the cost. In today's video, we'll make some massive progress and run into a massive roadblock.
I don't really know what to do. This is the point where I feel like just crying in a project.
So buckle up for the ride and welcome to the adventures of my DIY wife and her non-handy husband.
Before we get started, we want to say thanks to Marlowe for sponsoring today's video. Marlowe is a pillow brand designed to give you better sleep. And I do want to go ahead and mention that right now you can buy 2 Marlowe pillows and save 25%, or buy 4 Marlowe pillows and save 40%. Marlowe pillows have a really unique design, and each pillow is actually adjustable with a zipper detail. Use zip for a firmer pillow or unzip for added plushness. Other adjustable pillows come with filling to take in and out of the pillow, while Marlowe offers no mess adjustability with its zipper feature. Marlowe's fill of chopped memory foam contours to your neck, while their hypoallergenic down alternative microfiber gives the feel of down. I have been using my Marlowe pillow for about a week now and have honestly loved it. I'm ready for a nap. I have used both memory foam and down alternative pillows in the past, and I love the combination of both in this pillow because it really does just feel like this perfect balance that gives really excellent support.
So good.
And I also love how easily adjustable it is for different preferences. So I highly recommend giving Marlowe pillows a try. Click the link below to get yourself a Marlowe pillow and change the way you sleep. And again, don't forget that right now, if you purchase 2 pillows, you get 25% off. And if you purchase 4 pillows, you get 40% off. And right now, you can use my link below to get an extra 10% off.
When we bought this house a few years ago, the living room needed a lot of love. First, we started by painting the walls and ceilings and adding new flooring, which made a huge difference.
At that time, we were actually renting our house out on game day weekends, and so that meant that after we bought this house, we had 6 weeks until our first rental, which meant that we needed to finish up all of those initial renovations and furnish our entire house in just 6 weeks.
And it's worth mentioning here that we actually sold almost all of our furniture with the last house, and so we were basically starting from scratch.
So when it came to buying furniture for the new house, we had to pick things that would arrive on time, and we were also working with a budget because we were renovating our entire house. I had already built our coffee table several years ago, and for time's sake, and just because I love the piece, we decided to keep that in here. And then I picked up 2 accent chairs at Target because they were in stock, they fit the space, and we found a beautiful white slip-covered sofa at a local furniture store. My one item that I did splurge on was our leather sofa from Article, but I knew that even if we changed up the furniture in this space, I had other places that I would use it, and so I was confident making that purchase.
So after our initial renovations and quick furniture purchases, the room was looking much improved and ready for game day rentals.
Even after finishing all of that up and getting it looking really good, I knew that that wasn't the end of my vision for this space. After a good break from all of the renovation craziness, I started feeling inspired and was ready for phase 2 of this makeover, which involved 2 pretty big projects. First, we undertook a massive project and decided to build the fireplace of my dreams.
We're fast forwarding a bit here, but Andrea actually spent a couple of years dreaming this build up, and then it took a few weeks to actually complete it.
This one element was the missing piece that this room really needed to anchor it, and it completely changed the feel of the room.
The second project in phase 2 was a bit smaller, but it still had a big impact.
I installed and styled these clean white shelves, and it was a relatively simple project, but again, it really changed the look of the room. So after phase 2, this room was looking really good, but there were a few big changes I still had in mind.
And that brings us to where we are today, about to begin phase 3 of this living room transformation.
So like we mentioned earlier, we bought all of our furniture for this room quickly and on a pretty tight budget. And now, after over 4 years later and a lot of planning and saving, we're finally ready to invest in furniture that really fits the space and functions well for our family.
And of course, true to form, we're not just gonna buy every piece of furniture for this living room. Andrea is going to build 2 pieces for this living room, starting with a really cool custom coffee table. But first, let's back up about 6 months to our first furniture delivery for this space.
I really love the warmth that our leather sofa brought to this space, and so I knew that I wanted to incorporate leather somewhere. When I saw these leather accent chairs, I knew that they were perfect. They're huge, surprisingly comfortable, and just so unique.
Then the next piece of furniture being delivered was a big one, the biggest of all.
I've envisioned a huge oversized sectional in this room for a long time now. I love the idea of our entire family being able to fit comfortably on one huge sectional, and I just feel like a sectional brings that coziness that this massive room really needs. After a lot of researching and shopping around, I ended up landing on this beautiful linen slip-covered sectional from Made in Home.
We had waited months for this couch, and delivery day was really exciting, but by the end of the day, I knew something just was not right.
So once the sectional was all set up in place, something just felt a little bit off. And to be honest, I wasn't even gonna say anything to Dean. I was like, I'll figure it out. It could just be the coffee table. Maybe it's some other things that need to be changed. Maybe it just needs pillows.
So when she wasn't 100% thrilled with it, I was like, no, this is not gonna work. We've put too much time and investment into this. We gotta figure something out.
Something felt off, which is a little bit disappointing after years of planning this, because I had put so much thought into it. Then for it to get here and be like underwhelming was a little bit hard to swallow.
Was a little overwhelming.
Thankfully, Made in Home has an incredible return policy, and so we started planning for our exchange. So after deciding we were going to exchange the sectional, I called my good friend Justine to get her help thinking through all of the details. We talked through size options, color options, and were able to really pinpoint what it was that was feeling off about the first sectional. First, it wasn't quite big enough for this room. And second, while I love the look of linen and the sectional itself was beautiful, there was so much beige and light color happening in this room, and so I felt like we just needed a little bit more warmth and contrast. In the end, I decided to order the same sectional that we used in our friend's house, but in a different color.
So several months later, it was finally time for the new sectional to be delivered. The new sectional? Is that how you say that? And thankfully, delivery included setup because these couches looked really heavy. I do not envy that job, ladies and gentlemen. No, I don't.
Even as they were bringing these inside, I knew that we had made the right choice, and they were looking so good.
So are you pleased?
Yes, 100%. So happy with it this time.
And I was actually confident this time that she was pleased because I know this girl. So you might have noticed in our headshots over the last few months that our couch color has changed a few times, and now you know why. So now that the new sectional is in, it's time to start working on this week's project. Andrea will be attempting to build a designer coffee table for a fraction of the cost. So let's get started, shall we? This is a big work day, is it not?
It's a big work day.
Big work day, my goodness. Bring it out, babe. Would you just look at this rolling workbench?
Look at it.
I mean, it's just so beautiful, isn't it? How many comments would you say that we got saying that we needed to build a rolling workbench?
I don't know. We didn't count. I mean, hundreds. Easily.
Hundreds.
Easily hundreds.
For all of you hundreds that have commented, there it is.
All right, I got my tape measure, my tape. Let's go plan this coffee table. I can't believe we're finally getting rid of this. This was like my first, what would you call it? It wasn't my first furniture build ever, but it was my first one that I really liked.
Yeah, I have to say this is one of my favorite builds that Andrea's ever done. Even going throughout the last 10 years, she's done so many incredible projects, but this one stands out to me. It's super cool, and it stood the test of time through like 3 houses, so that's saying something.
Oh, are you getting a little sentimental? You gonna have a hard time letting go?
No.
Okay, this is my favorite feature. When we had little kids, this was awesome. So these are just on casters. They can climb on these or in them and they won't break. A lot of memories. I guess I should also point out I'm not a very sentimental person, so letting go of things is actually not very difficult for me. We'll pass it along. Somebody else is gonna enjoy it. So let's talk really quickly about why I'm building a new coffee table, and the number one reason really is this sectional is huge and there is a lot of space around the coffee table. I want to build one that's honestly about 2 feet longer this way, and I also want one that has legs so that there's more visual space underneath it, since this is such a solid piece of furniture. I feel like something that's a little bit visually lighter with the legs and not the solid sides is just what this space needs. All right, so step one is we actually need to get this old coffee table moved out of the way because I want to tape out some size options because I'm actually playing with the idea of building 2 coffee tables, mainly so that it doesn't look like a dining table that we stuck short legs on, but we'll figure that out. That's kind of why I want to get the visual tape on the ground to see how it might look, you know, because blue tape will make that super clear.
1, 2, 3, yeah!
Don't be checking out the glutes now.
It looks so much better already. Wow, our rag is dirty around this thing.
That sounds
I vacuumed
great.
up a marble and so it's just like spinning around and around. So this is 6 feet. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna tape out, I think 4 feet by 6 feet and then kind of play with my 2 coffee table idea. Clearly winging it. I don't normally start building a project on the same day that I'm planning it.
Well, I think to be fair, she's been thinking of this and planning this for a really long time. She's just kind of toggling back and forth between a couple different ideas. So it's not like you're just starting this out of the blue just today. This has been months in the making, like all of her projects.
Gotta make sure.
Yeah, feet can go on it. That's important.
Yeah.
I'll give it the full look.
I don't know that I want to make it 2. That doesn't actually seem as big. Okay, so I'm feeling good about this size. I definitely don't want to make 2 coffee tables. It doesn't feel like it's quite big enough for that. Maybe if I was gonna have it go further that way and it was a giant square, that would be a cool opportunity to put 2 rectangles together, but we're gonna do 1 massive coffee table, 4 feet by 6 feet. So we're gonna go grab some lunch and then pick up materials so we can finally get started on this project. A bad boy.
Look at that workbench, would you? All right, let's go. You hot rod, you.
I'm hungry.
She's very hungry. Do not get in her way. So where are we going to lunch today?
Same place we ever go every day, Pinky.
Where is that?
Kava.
You guys tell us. We're going to Kava. You think we could eat in 15 minutes? That way we could park for free? Wait for me. Hummus. That was good. And forgot to pay for parking. And we're back. Let's see. All right, so to clarify, some people were saying, oh my gosh, do you have to pay for parking to eat at this restaurant? No, that's not the case. It's that this whole complex here is right next to a really busy campus. Are you okay?
I'm just trying to drink my drink over here.
And so, come on! So if they didn't charge for parking, you would probably get lots of students parking here and running across the street to go to class, and there would literally be no parking spots because it's not a huge parking lot in this complex. So you gotta pay for parking to park in this complex, not to eat at a restaurant. All right, where are we off to next?
Lowe's, man.
I think we go to Lowe's every single work day. Like pretty much any day we're on a project, we go to Lowe's at least once. I think we've gone up to 3 times in one day, which is absolutely ridiculous. So back to Lowe's we go.
Back to Lowe's we go.
A Lowe's trip, a Lowe's trip. Every single day it's a Lowe's trip.
Are you drinking my lemonade?
No, it's mine.
No, that's your drink.
You said, hey, will you give me like a half a cup more?
I said 2/3 of a cup.
Or 2/3 of a cup. And so I filled it to the top so that I could drink that bit. So I would say this is mine. Your nostrils flared. We're really bad.
I don't want to go in there. So have a good time. I'll see you when you get back.
You're going to stay in the car? It's going to go a lot faster. But I'm getting a bunch of lumber, so I could probably use your help.
And that's a miracle. You find a lumber cart right out in the parking lot. What a day. That's tight fit there. I've always wanted to do tool commercials for people, kind of like radio voice commercial type stuff. So if anybody's looking for the guy, let me just do a couple test runs here. You can see if I'm the right fit for your company.
Looking for an incredibly dependable set of tools? Check out DeWalt. Do you like the color blue? Well, so do I. So why not have an entire line of blue tools?
I was filming all those commercials, and now Andrea's run off and left me behind. She's so impatient, you know? I mean, it was just a few commercials. Is that too much to ask? Who do we have here? What? What is happening here? We switching roles?
We're back here where there's no people,
So the introvert can come out of her shell. Did you bring your own tape measure into Lowe's?
Yes, I did.
You are such a handy woman. Oh my goodness.
So I would need 5 of these.
We are back here hunting, find the perfect boards. I'm here with the DIY wife. Tubers. Always got to get some tubers. Come on, ow, baby. Minivan, every time. When in doubt, don't doubt the minivan. That's what I always say. Another job well done, minivan. Good job, buddy. Boom, made it. Workbench.
Look at that workbench, ready to go.
Look at it.
We have just over an hour. How much work can we get done?
Dessert and nap. I think that's what we got time for. I got 2. Oh, just one, huh?
Couldn't make you look bad. I'm getting 3.
Good job, buddy.
I knew right where my gloves were.
That's incredible.
We don't show how much time we waste looking for stuff.
She always goes, "Hey, have you seen this?" I'm like,
Tape
"No,
measure.
I
Whenever
don't use
we're working, I lose this while we're working now. Look, I'm just gonna call this my tape measure cubby. All right, so before we actually start making all the cuts on these boards, I'm gonna plane down the edges. This is a planer. I'm gonna plane down these sides so that I can have a flush joint in between all of them. I don't want like how these, when you buy dimensional lumber like this, it's like slightly rounded. I don't want that, so I'm gonna plane down the edges before I make cuts, and then we'll start, you know, we'll finish, we'll build a coffee table.
You're so professional.
Smell this.
Yeah, we should start a barbecue restaurant, you think?
Barbecue restaurant.
Wait. Is that it?
Yeah, me. Just trying to decide which side I want to be on the top. If I like these bigger knots or the smaller ones, but this piece of wood has like some big old gouges out of the sides. I don't really want that. We'll use this side.
Last one?
Last one. Okay, so next it's time to assemble the top of my table, and to do that I'm going to have pocket holes all along the bottom, and then I'll put wood glue to put it all together. So first I need to make pocket holes on both sides on the bottom. And I can't remember now what side I want to be the top and which one I want to be the bottom.
Better get that figured out.
I'm I'm just arranging them really quick with the top facing out, just to kind of make sure the knots are spread out like I like. Then I can actually start putting them together. Instead of trying to lay out and then glue and screw all 5 of my boards together at the same time, I decided to take it in smaller chunks, as this just seemed more manageable and would make it easier to get each section level. My clamp is in the way.
Round 2.
I'd say it's already coming together. Is that the mega clamp?
The Mega Clamp.
Once I had the smaller sections put together, I used my big clamp and put them all together for one large tabletop. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. This is so cool, and it's going to take me a long time, so I'm going to start on this while Dean is gone. So basically, I've gotten this wire brush attachment for my drill. It's roughing up the surface, but it's also like with the wood grain, giving it a lot of texture, and then I'll come back and smooth it down a little bit just so it's not like rough, but it'll still have a lot of that texture, kind of like an old piece of reclaimed wood, because that is what I'm going for, is a more rustic, kind of reclaimed wood look, you know, using cheap pine dimensional lumber from the hardware store. I'm excited about this. Okay, so change of plans. Before I use the wire brush, I'm going to go ahead and sand it with, this is 60 grit because they didn't have 80 grit for some reason, and I'm out of 80 grit. Just because some of these markings like this, where it's gotten dirty, except for where the straps were, I realized I don't want to have to go through all of that with the wire brush. So I'm going to kind of sand down and just get some of those marks before I continue with the wire brush. Yeah, just don't touch the wire brush when you turn it on.
Sometimes you gotta let them use the tools a little bit, you know? Excellent. Whoa.
After a quick break and some help from our young apprentices, I finished roughing up the tabletop and then called it a day. Look at all of this that it's carving out.
And this, unfortunately, is where it all went wrong.
Okay, so I came out here last night against Dean's wishes, didn't film it, started trying to get some sample stain, and I'm honestly having a bit of a panic moment because I have never tried staining pine a dark color, and I really want a really deep chocolatey brown stain for this coffee table. Basically, what I'm running into is pine has a pretty obvious grain where part of it is really soft, and it is soaking up that dark stain a lot, and so I'm getting this kind of zebra striped effect, which I don't want. I want it more uniform. I've tried all of my tricks that normally work. I've tried gel stain, I've tried doing a whitewash first and then a dark stain on top of it, and that looks terrible. I don't really know what to do. This is the point where I feel like just crying in a project.
Where do we go from here?
I don't know. I couldn't sleep thinking about it. I'm like, I need to just start over with a different kind of wood. And Dean's gonna let me do it, right, babe?
Okay, awesome.
So we're gonna take a little breather and start over with white oak because I am confident that I can stain oak with a dark stain and have it look like what I want. Sometimes this happens in projects. Things don't go like you want. Hopefully next week's video is gonna end happy and we'll be like, it was worth it.
So this is kind of a sad way to end this week's video, but I can promise you that you're not going to want to miss next week's video because Andrea is going back at it. We go to a specialty lumber supplier, so tune in next week to see if round 2 goes better than round 1.
Oh, that's not what's supposed to happen.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
Let me just help you out with these, babe. There we go. And then you up.
Oh, slip-ons are the best.
Are you thinking you'll sleep on the coffee table?
What?
Instead of
For like posing and stuff?
you
It's gotta
stop?
be big enough. Like,
You're such a
for, like,
weirdo.
all of our like spring poses and stuff. Like. Sometimes I say 60 to tell our editor this is 60 frames per second, which means slow motion. But yes, when we're driving, she's always like, it's not 60. Wait, just wait.
We didn't go to Lowe's the day before that. Or the day before
That's
that.
not what I meant to say.
Or the day before that. We have not been to Lowe's in 5 days now.
Are you missing her? Because anytime Andrea gets an opportunity.
Because both sides open up, and this is how we cleaned our living room, is I just said, throw it all in. There's still a lot of toys on the other side. That's the only downside, I guess. And I'm a big fan of, you should do what you like in your house. So a lot of you might think, why are you getting rid of a perfectly good coffee table? And it's because it's my house and I want to build a new coffee table. So that's what we're doing.
What are you doing? Let me hear it. I love your focus face too. It's amazing, brother. Yeah, man!
What if I threw this ice on you? Thought about it, but I won't.
Sometimes you can be a real turd, you know? If round 2 goes better than round 1. Did I say one? What the heck?
I heard something funny.
Round 1.